All right, back for another beer review, and today I'll be reviewing a beer from the Bell's Brewery, and they are out of both Kalamazoo and Comstock, Michigan, and this is their Cherry Stout, the 2020 release. So they're calling this one an American Stout that is brewed with Montmorency cherry juice. It comes in at 7% alcohol by volume. No IBUs listed in time of review. This bottle is just under 1 month old. So I don't have like any kind of crazy storied history with this beer or anything. Bell's first started distributing to the Western New York area, I think it was back in 2012, could be 2013. I don't exactly remember. It was one of those 2 years. And when they showed up, I pretty much grabbed everything in their core range and whatever seasonals were out. And this was one of those beers. Now, I didn't really dislike or like this one. I just never had a beer to that point that kind of was like this one with a regular American Stout, but brewed with cherry juice. It was kind of tart and fruity, and I didn't know what to really think about it. So I have never drank it since that time. So I'm revisiting this one for the first time in at least 7 years, potentially 8. And I wanted to grab something for the whole shelfie beer review theme for the month of November 2020 from Bell's. I wanted to grab something. I wanted their 35th anniversary Expedition Stout. I can't find it around here, hopefully soon. So I saw this one. I was like, you know what? I haven't drank that one in a long time. Let's review it and see what's going on. So, like I said, they're brewing this one with cherry juice. On the back it says Ruby Black. This stout's signature tartness comes from cherries grown in Michigan's Traverse City region. Warm, dark chocolate notes come together with the cherries in a mysterious dance to create one of the cornerstones of the Bell's Stout portfolio. So, yeah, like I said, under a month old. It's funny because it says shelf life of unlimited. I don't know if a beer like this I would really, sit on for many years, but who knows? The brewery probably knows way better than some random schmuck on YouTube. So anyway, we're going to crack this one open. It's been out of the fridge for a little bit. I didn't want, to be cold or anything. So it's been out for like 45 minutes, so we should be good. And I'm using the Mad Elf glass from Trogs because it's another beer brewed with cherries, and I don't have any Bell's glassware. Should get some at some point. Anyway, here we go. Yeah, that's pouring out pretty dark, like a very dark brown. We'll go like that so I can get my schnoz up in there. Throw it over here. So yeah, let's give it a little swirl here. Yeah, it's like pitch black in the glass. It's more like a dark brown because I see a little bit of a tinge here. On camera, I know it's gonna be pitch black. The head itself is pretty much a dark brown head, very creamy looking, about a half finger. It does have some alcohol legs on the side at 7%, which is kind of interesting. But yeah, that looks really nice. It definitely looks like a stout of some sort. Let's get a nose on it. So I was thinking with the cherry juice that it would be more pungent as far as like some kind of like dark fruit or just the cherry itself, but it's really not. I'm getting more of the stout base of the nose. It has this really nice, like, I won't say burnt malt, but very deeply roasted malt character. There's chocolate, more of like a bittering chocolate, like a baker's chocolate. A little bit of caramel, molasses. A smidge of coffee. And then I'm getting dark fruit that, if I was doing this blind, I would just think that's coming from the malt. Like there's a very slight sweet dark cherry, maybe like a fig type of thing going on. But it honestly just smells like a well-brewed American Stout. Like it has the characteristics you would expect from just like a 6-7% stout. Really not picking up on the cherry juice, which to me is interesting. I remember when I drank this one, it was tart. It had a big cherry presence. So we'll see if that's the case in the nose or in the taste, but in the nose it's not. It doesn't smell bad at all. Let's get into it. Cheers, everyone. Okay. Yeah, so it's very interesting to me how this beer drinks based off of the nose because they don't really go together. Body on this one's like lower side of medium to medium, a little bit thin, I'd say for 7%. Not incredibly thin or anything, but a little bit thin. The mouthfeel, this doesn't have as much carbonation as I anticipated. It's lightly carbonated, I'd say. I mean, it has carbonation, but it's more soft and smooth than it is effervescent on the palate. So body, a little bit thin. Mouthfeel, I actually enjoy the lack, I shouldn't say the lack carbonation, but the lower carbonation. I think it really works well. The taste, like I said in the nose, no cherry juice, no tart cherry, none of that. In the taste, yes. So right from hit with all those stout characteristics. And it's more of that deeply roasted malt, caramel toffee, baker's chocolate, a touch of molasses, And that hits me right at the forefront. But then that quickly transitions into this slightly tart cherry juice. I mean, that's basically what it is, and that's what they brew with, so it shouldn't surprise me. So like the first maybe quarter of the palate is like that stout character, but as it passes through, that cherry kind of takes over, and I'm left with a slightly acidic, slightly tart kind of cherry finish. There's a little bit of like a coffee kind of presence too hanging around, which is interesting. I can't tell you it's 7%. Hides the alcohol extremely well. It's not super sweet or anything. It's not super tart. It's not really bitter. It has a pretty good balance between those three. But it's not, to me, this is fine. Like, if I pick this up and I'm like, okay, I'm in the mood for like a stout with some kind of cherry juice in it, yeah, I mean, it's pretty solid for what it is. But I think I'm kind of, it's funny because so many beers I've revisited in the last couple of years that I maybe drank, 5 to 10 years beforehand, that I'll come back to them and I'll be like, oh man, it's completely different. Or, I have a similar take, but more often than not, I have a different take or I have a different memory of what the beer was. This one is kind of similar to what I thought it was 7, 8 years ago, honestly. I'm not sure necessarily for my palate the cherry juice works extremely well with the base stout. I'd say maybe a little less of that tartness and a little less of that cherry juice and more of the stout character coming out would be preferred for me. But it's not a bad beer or anything. It's just I don't think it works extremely well for what I'm looking for out of this beer. That said, it's not bad. It's actually pretty damn solid. It's just, I don't know. It's probably not, it's not a beer that I'm going to ever probably go back to, honestly. I'm glad I retried it. I'm glad I revisited it. I'm glad I reviewed it. But yeah, this is one of the Bell's beers that, for me, I can see a lot of people loving this one, but I'm in kind of the other side of the fence. I'm on the other side of the fence where I don't hate it, but I also just think it's a solid, good beer, but just something that I probably won't revisit ever again. So, yeah, I will say this. I think it was the 30th anniversary cherry stout that I liked more than this. It had oak chips, and I think they used cherry pits and something else, but I really like that one a little bit more. I think I gave it like a 3.75 or maybe like a low 4. I think that one's better than this one for me. So Cherry Stout, the 2020 release from Bell's. I can't do much better than a 3.5 out of 5 for this one. Kind of a 3.5 for me on my scale is pretty much like, it's solid. It's a solid, I would say, good beer, but it's something that I'll probably never pick up again. And yeah, I think you really need to like cherry juice in conjunction with the stout and just how it plays in here. I like both of those things, but I just think it's a little bit more to the cherry side than anything. So yeah, I don't know. Not much more to say about it. Now, price and availability, wherever you see Bell's, you should see this one. It's a seasonal release. I think it's in, basically late fall into early winter. You should see this one. The price point's a little bit steep for me. I believe in my area it's either 15 or 16 bucks a 6-pack. I think I paid like $270 for the $269, something like that for this bottle. So I think they're around $15, $16 6-pack. That's a bit steep for something like this. It is 7% and it does use cherry juice, so can't complain too much. And I drink a lot of fucking stupidly priced beer, so I can't really, complain too much. But for something like this, I would never, pay 15, 16 bucks a 6-pack ever again for me. I just wouldn't. So yeah, this is an interesting beer. Maybe a polarizing beer. Let me know what you think about this one if you've had it before, and I'm sure a lot of you have had it before. I'm sure there'll be some people that really love this one and other people that just fucking hate it. Maybe there'll be some in the middle like me. I don't have any strong feelings towards this one. I just don't think, as far as like Bell's beers are concerned, this is just not one I would go back to. They make way better beer for my palate personally. So yeah. Anyway, 7%, I think I mentioned, I can't really tell, 7%, so they hide the alcohol well. Overall, a well-made, solid beer, but at the end of the day, it's just one for me that I'll probably never buy again, but I am very happy, super happy that I got a chance to try it again and review it because it was fun. Even though it's not my favorite beer or anything, still fun. Anyway, like I said, if you had this one before, post in the comments, let me know what you think about it. Appreciate everybody stopping by for another beer review here on the Beer Patrol. To the next one, cheers.